everyone, and a special welcome to the recipient of the reading, Brisa. Brisa participated in the monthly lottery and won this reading from me. If you're also interested in becoming the winner of the monthly lottery, you can find the details in the description. You can enter on my Patreon page. So, Brisa did not have a specific question, but she did send me a message to let us know about her current situation. So I'm going to read that to you now with her permission. So let's see what's going on with her energetically and how we can help her in this reading. So I ask you to stay here with us, and if you feel like you can relate to her situation, make a comment and let her know that she's not alone. And also listen to the reading, because maybe you can take something away from it. Hopefully. Okay. I'm seeking my own spiritual path, and I am deeply curious and have an affinity towards reading spiritual and philosophical works, meditation and divination, such as the tarot and I Ching. However, I'm feeling some sorts of oppression. Both of my parents are very strong Christians and are not supportive of my path, or any that does not line up with their beliefs. I am living at home, so this influence can be a little bit overbearing. I am an extremely passive person who is indifferent and lacking any strong ambition. In a way, I do think it's important to be adaptable and accept the what is in life. But then again, sometimes I feel like a ghost or a piece of driftwood floating down the river, instead of it being a wise, serene decision of healthy detachment. I feel numb to a lot of things and often neglect myself or the world around to keep the peace. However, I know how harmful this is to my personal growth, and at times makes it hard for me to connect. I recently broke up with my boyfriend, but it was a very clean break, and we are still very close friends. I feel that I shouldn't be in a relationship until I found my own financial, spiritual, and emotional independence. My head oftentimes feels cloudy and fogged, not necessarily with negative thoughts and emotions, but more like white noise and static. It's like my mind is constantly filled with everything and nothing at the same time. I have a passion for helping people, but lately I feel like I do not yet have the proper resources to be what people actually need. Self-discovery and care is critical at this point in my life. I want to draw this card for you. This represents you and your energy in this situation, in the here and now. Well, I have ambivalent feelings reading this message, because I think it's not truthful, with all due respect. I think you're not a passive person. I think that's a misunderstanding. There is something else going on here, and I want to find out what it is. I can't really put my finger on it just yet, but this is what the reading is for. Now, I want to say thank you for opening up, and thank you for, formulating your thoughts in such a poetic way, which is my number one clue in knowing that there's a lot more potential in you and a lot more ambition than what you give credit for. So if you really had no will, no interest in, expressing yourself, then why would you have shared these, very detailed and poetic observations with us? I've had clients before who are pretty deep in the pit of despair, deeply stuck in depression and other states of mind that make them feel helpless and completely devoid of motivation and ambition. And they are, not capable of writing about their internal states with so much flavor, with so much care and attention to detail as you did. So essentially, you're speaking about a soulless state of mind where you're disconnected from your true self, where you're not really, in your perception, you're not very sensitive and you're not very motivated to do anything. And yet, you're writing about this desolate ghost existence with so much imagination and with so many colors. When I read your words, I see colors. I see a rich internal fantasy world that I think is very far from the complete numbness and emptiness that you are suggesting. Perhaps compared to your potential, you are less active. But I just feel like there's something else not being talked about here. So I want to see what it is. Let's see what's missing from this picture. Okay. Now, please, I want to clarify that I'm not trying to accuse you of not being honest or anything like that. I just think that maybe you're not seeing what you're doing. I think you're just actually disconnected from the processes that are really going on within you, and you're not really disconnected from your true self. And there's a difference there. There is something going on within you. So I want to actually have a card on the breakup itself to see what's there. Let's see the motivation to help people, because I think that's a beautiful thing. Let's see what's going on there. You are expressing a sense of inadequacy in that area, which, I don't know. I think if you want to help others, the emphasis is on the helping intent itself. You don't have to have any kind of expertise to be useful to people. Your will to want to help them is enough. And that willpower creates the ability to help. So it's not the other way around, I don't think. So we're going to talk about that as well. Let's see what else. Oh, your family. Yeah, well, I think that's a situation that many people here can relate to. Being misunderstood, being ostracized because of having a difference of opinion. So let's see what the cards say about that situation with your family. And I can see how it's even more painful and more tense because you have to live with them. So yeah, it's not an easy situation at all. Not at all. All right, so let's see. Your current energy. We have the Four of Wands. Beautiful. Okay. What's missing from the picture? The Eight of Cups. Okay. The Breakup. Judgment. All right, that's an intense card. It's a major arcana card. The situation, the help situation. Eight of Wands. Very good. And finally, the situation with your parents. Six of Wands. We have lots of wands here. So, wands, excuse me. Wands represent fire. So, I think some of the intensity and the spiciness that was coming through in your message, even though we were writing about a topic that is kind of depressing and alienated, there's still a sense of vibrancy and aliveness that's coming through in your words. And that's not something that you can hide, really. You have a soul that is very much alive, even though you're describing this feeling of detachment, feeling like a ghost, feeling like driftwood. That's a beautiful image, by the way. Very artistic. Feeling like driftwood floating down the river. You're not an extremely passive person. I don't think you are. In your current situation, there's not a lot you can do. That could be a reason why you are perceiving yourself as passive. But let's start from the beginning. Let's see what the cards are picking up here. What is the energy that it's picking up on in regards to you? We have the Four of Wands. Again, wands are fire. And the Four of Wands is about being accepted. So, ironically or contradictively, even though you are living with your parents who are not very accepting of these alternative ways of thinking, because I don't think you should necessarily call it a belief system. You don't have to believe in anything. You just like to think differently. And so even though they don't like these new directions that you're taking and they are not accepting of it, there's an enormous sense of inclusion and acceptance that you can find in relation to these ideas. And your soul is resonating really deeply with the enthusiasm and the joy and the exhilaration of discovery that comes from you interacting with these ideas and these people who, have a different perspective. And that's okay. And your different way of thinking is accepted here. For example, on my channel, I'm pretty sure that you can find this resonance, this different sort of resonance. The people who come here, they have a mind of their own. Many of them are artists, writers. Some of them are in the scientific field. These are people who are creative and serious about life, but at the same time playful. So I think there's a level of acceptance that is coming your way, even though it might not be in your immediate physical presence. It's still something that is enriching your soul, something that is liberating you, and it's giving you support. And there must be a reason why you were picked for this reading by fate. This is to show you that you are not abandoned. You're not alone, really. And sinking deeper into this new community that you found is actually going to help you solidify your passion, your motivation for life. So I just don't see the passivity reflected in the cards. I do see with the Eight of Cups, which is the element that was missing from your letter, I do see emotional pain with the Eight of Cups, a transitioning period where you're basically getting accustomed to living your life without certain emotional connections that you previously had thought were emotionally meaningful. And now it turns out that these relationships, for example, with your parents or your boyfriend, are not sufficiently emotionally nourishing. And there's a level of depression, a level of lack of faith and lack of trust that comes from that you're not acknowledging. The Eight of Cups is the card of moving on, of realizing that the situation that you have previously been in is simply something that you've outgrown, something that is no longer sustainable emotionally. And so there's a hesitation, there's a lack of clarity, there's a lack of ground, stable ground beneath your feet emotionally that you can count on. And so you're not, it sounds like in your letter, you're not really giving yourself time to process these things. You are self-aware. You are aware that these things are present in your life, but it seems like you're discrediting their effect on how you feel. What you describe as passivity and lack of lust for life, it's the direct result of you losing these connections and perhaps other connections. These emotional crutches that you were leaning upon beforehand, they are gone now. And it's just sinking in that you really cannot count on these people to give you emotional comfort or inspiration. The breakup situation. I have a good feeling about your boyfriend, your ex-boyfriend. I think the fact that you were able to go on in an amicable way is great, and it's an opportunity for the both of you to grow. So you actually did the right thing, breaking up with him. We have the card of Judgment here. Judgment, or Aeon, as it's called in this deck, is a card of confronting our past, processing it, and moving forward in a radically different way. So basically starting a new life by way of analyzing and integrating the traumatic parts of our past. So I would encourage you to pay a little more attention to this breakup. It sounds like you put it in a box, in a drawer with the label, "I'm okay, it's all good, we're okay." There is elements of this breakup that still need to be worked through. There's a reason why it ended. And these relationship dynamics, more often than not, are reflections of deeper trauma, of deeper patterns of interpersonal dynamics with your family as well, growing up as a child, with your peers, with adults around you. These are imprints and basis for further complications in your adult life. And in this relationship, you seem to have encountered some of the ghosts from your past that right now you're not really facing, you're not really encountering in a direct way. Instead of saying, "Here's a ghost from my past," you're saying, "I am the ghost," but you really are not. So for some reason, it seems easier for you to identify with the feeling of emptiness than encountering the emptiness that was perhaps present in the relationship, perhaps also in your upbringing. I'm going to draw another card later on for this, but let's now move on to how you can help. The Eight of Wands is the card of, it's basically a nudge from the universe, emphasizing what I've told you before. There's no need to be an expert. There's no need to have any sort of qualifications to be able to help people in general. Your desire to want to help, your will to want to help is going to create the skills that you need. And the Eight of Wands is here to let you know that the sooner you swing into action, the better it is. So whatever you do, it almost doesn't even matter. Obviously, within the bounds of common sense. You can start small, but the point here is to get started as soon as you can, because this desire to help other people is a good one. And the first thing that you can think of that you can do to make this world a little bit of a better place, this card is encouraging you to do it. And don't worry about your qualifications or whether you are prepared. It's the spark of the moment that is going to give you the qualifications. So don't worry about these feelings of inadequacy, of not being good enough to help. They are, I think they are correlated with your current situation, with the Eight of Cups, of having lost some of your stability in life emotionally. The Six of Wands, your card for the family situation. What we have here is ego. Ego clashing against ego. Your parents are coming from an egotistic place when they are judging you for what you're interested in. And you can also choose to come back at them from an egotistic place. But I think what this card is trying to say is that keeping your boundaries, keeping your ego intact and not grounded and destroyed and crushed is important, even though you are living with them and you might feel like you owe them your pride, your dignity. You don't. That's the one thing that, you can be polite, you can, and you should be tolerating a lot of stuff, but you don't have to tolerate everything. You don't have to tolerate any remarks, any jabs at your value as a person, your ego. So you don't necessarily have to come from an egotistic place when defending yourself. Just come from a place of knowing that we all need our egos to operate in this world. And when somebody's coming at you with the intent of destruction, with the intent of eliminating your ego, then you should never allow it. Even though in many esoteric circles and disciplines, it is emphasized that the ego is not who you really are. It's true, but you still need it in order to be able to navigate this world. So do not let other people destroy your ego. Only you can destroy your own ego, and only you have the right to destroy your own ego. I think that's very important because in many situations, many interpersonal relationships, a lot of this abuse can happen under the guise of, hey, I'm just trying to humble you. I'm just trying to show you that you're not really your ego. Everybody should be concerned with their own ego, I think. And when people are actively trying to destroy you on that level, it's always suspicious. It's always for some unclean reason. So let's see what else we can see here with the Judgment card. Okay, we have Strength. All right, so with the Strength card, we have, on the one hand, we have the answer to your unasked question on what you can do to gain back some of your vitality, because I think even though you did not ask me that, I think your message was about that. And so Strength here is signaling to you that it can only happen by confronting and really understanding and processing what happened in this relationship. Even the uncomfortable things. I'm seeing some, with the Strength surfacing, I'm seeing this as a sign of intimacy issues. You not feeling comfortable enough to be yourself, your erotic self, with this person. And the importance of that is really great, because especially having Christian parents who, Christianity, a lot of the times, I don't want to generalize, but that's my experience, is a lot of the times, sexual stuff and basically any of our primal human nature that comes to the surface is being shunned in Christianity, and it's being demonized. So here's this card telling you that there's something in that direction that you still need to work with. There's some guilt that you need to release there. And this is basically the process back to normal. You're normal, which is, I think you're a person full of life, full of hope, full of intensity, full of fire, really. That's your true nature. But in the current situation, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of, what if I did something? What if I did something wrong? Who can I depend on, really? These are the questions that I see coming up here. So I think this is the best way to move forward. I hope that you enjoy this reading, Brisa. I hope everybody who stayed with us was able to get something from it. Thank you, all of you, for all of your support, your nice comments, and I hope to see you in another video.